What's up, everyone? All right, so during this episode, I'm gonna break down for you one of the tricks that I use to help predict breakouts. Now, this trick is based on using level 2 and seeing both big buyers and big sellers in terms of understanding where you've got points of resistance and where if you break that point, you're likely to see a really big breakout. Learning to read level 2 is like learning to read a second language. It's the language of the financial markets, and it takes time to become fluent. I'm fluent in technical analysis and in reading level 2, and I want to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I use on a daily basis that it's easy to take for granted because at this point, they kind of come so naturally. It's like seeing 2 plus 2 and you naturally know that that's 4. That for me, it's reading level 2 has become that second nature. And so to help slow down and get you to the place where it becomes second nature, we're gonna examine a trade that I took today that ended up being about $1,000 of profit on a perfect breakout using this little trick. Now, if you guys wanna learn more about the tips and tricks that I use for reading level 2 and also for technical analysis, I want you to register for Day Trading 101. It's a free webinar. The link is right down there below, and everyone who registers and attends will get a free copy of my best-selling book. And you'll learn a little bit more about the setups that I trade because it kind of goes hand in hand both with the reason that level 2 is important and the current chart pattern. And that'll make more sense as we get into this video. So let's get into it, and when we come back and we come to the end, I'll give you another reminder to register for Day Trade 101. All right, let's do it. All right, so let's start breaking down this example of one of the little tricks that I use to help predict breakouts. Now, we're gonna look at this stock, INPX. It's up 35% at the time that I'm watching it right here. And as you can see, this is the chart on the right-hand side of the screen. So what we have here is a stock that has already made a pretty big move. It was already up 35%. It then pulled back and it started to squeeze back up to what you can see here is a little bit of a resistance point. Now, when it came up to this level, earlier this morning, it was like, well, this time right here, whatever that is, 950 or so, it actually hit $4.95, and that's when we first saw this big seller. This big seller is about 22,000 shares. As the stock came back up right here on this candle, we saw again that same 22,000 share seller, and now it has come back up a third time to that level. So on the 1 minute chart, we have clear technical resistance at this level of 495. And I'll show you the chart as it is right now in a moment. But so basically what we have is this sort of cup formation where the stock squeezes up, pulls back, pops up, pulls back, comes up, double top, resistance at 95. And then it pulls back for a second, goes sideways, and then right here, as it's coming in, I'm gonna look for it to break this level. So how do I predict the breakout? Well, on this stock, I see the seller right here at $4.95. And what I know about these stocks, and this is part of learning the language of reading level 2, is that when you have a big seller, as we have here at 495, a lot of times, if you're shorting the stock, where would you set your stop? If you're short, you'd probably say, well, I'll just hold this as long as 495 doesn't break. Because this is resistance. Not only is it technical resistance on the chart because it's a double top, it's also resistance in the form of a really large seller. So when I see that large seller as a short seller, I would say my stop is gonna be about 495. As a buyer, I'm gonna think that if that breaks, if we see this go from 495 and all of a sudden it breaks to 496, it's gonna be breaking through this critical resistance level. And so sometimes when you have a big seller that's kind of holding things up, a lot of traders will wait for that seller to clear out before getting in. You don't usually want to buy at 93 right before a 22,000 share seller because it's like, well, I'm buying right below resistance. I'd rather see that resistance level starting to get knocked down. And so I'm going to play this video and I'm going to pause it a couple times. This is live trading. So I'm watching right here and I've got my hand, my mouse is on the buy button with an order at $4.96 for 3,000 shares. This is a limit order. So I'm stipulating how much I'm willing to pay. I would not do this type of trade with a market order because when it snaps through this level, when it breaks, it's gonna break really fast. And if my market order was slow to execute, I could end up getting filled at the top of the breakout, which could be significantly higher than where I wanna be getting in. Okay, so let's watch this. 22, and see how it's starting to come down? Let's just back that up for 1 second. All right, so we'll back this up here. So the stock is squeezing up. We're seeing lots of green on the time and sales. 22, 21. The green is right here. This green is every individual order as it's going through. More green. Now it's 14,000 shares, and this is where I'm gonna press the buy button. I just bought, and I clicked the buy button twice. And then I pressed it a third time, and then I pressed it a fourth time. So I actually tried to buy 12,000 shares of this stock. I wanted to get in at $4.95 because I believed that if $4.95 broke, we would get a quick break over 5 and a squeeze up maybe 5.10, 5.15, maybe 5.25. So let's back this up again. All right, so we're right here. I've got my hand on the buy button. The order's at 96. Green, lots of green, lots of buyers. Reading the time and sales and the level 2, they go hand in hand. So this is, of course, the level 2 on the left, and this is the time and sales on the right. In fact, with Lightspeed, they're built into the same window. So we've got 94, and I know that seller's gonna be there at 95. And now I wanna see that seller get taken down. So I wanna see it go 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. And as it starts to show that it's getting knocked down, I'm gonna press the buy button. Now, if I was short, I would also press the buy button, and it would be to cover my position because I'd be thinking, uh-oh, looks like this thing is gonna rip. Long traders and short sellers are both pressing the buy button at the same moment, and look what happens. Look at that. Just like that, we got the breakout. Now, I've already sold 3,000 shares, just like that. As quickly as you can type, you can be buying or selling shares. So here we go, let's do it again. There's the order coming in. There's the breakout. I break. It breaks through 5, and I haven't put out the order to sell yet. I'm going to do that in 1 second as it breaks through 5. So right here, I just put out an order. It's going to be at the bid, 513. I sold half, and I sold another half at 511. I sold a little bit more, and now it's going to come back down. It's going to probably test this 95 spot. It's often that they break through, come back and test a level before ripping higher. Now this stock will end up ripping higher. We'll see if it pops back up here. I still have 850 shares at 95. 97, there's 502, 505, 508, 510. Now let's look at the chart on this. This ended up breaking 5 right here. Let's see, I'll full screen this. So it broke that level. It was right here that it broke. So it was on this candle that you just saw me buy. It pops up to 517. It then dropped back down. It hit 493. It popped back up, drop back down. Pop back up, drop back down. Choppy, choppy. Comes back down to the 9 moving average, this gray line. And then right here, it comes back up, and it's gonna blast through 510, 515, and rip all the way up here to 544. Then it's gonna do a 1-minute pullback and squeeze up to a high of 589. So those trades are all fine. They're not as much of a study on reading level 2. This was really the study on level 2. That seller that was sitting there at 495. So we'll watch that one more time. So 495, you see the seller? There we go, 22. Anytime I see a seller like this, doesn't matter if it's 70,000 shares, if it's 50,000, if it's 30,000, 20,000. Less than 20,000, I don't usually put as much emphasis on. Certainly 500 shares or 1,000 is irrelevant, but 15,000 and up starts to become more significant. Above 100,000 is a huge seller. So I'll just wait on that. I won't be buying when it goes from 100 to 98. I'll be buying more when it's gone from 100 to 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. And then right when it's about at 30, that's when I would jump in, because I want to get in right before it snaps through a level. Because sometimes they'll start to get eaten up which is what we would say, buyers are eating up that block of seller. And then there's not enough buyers, and then it falls back down. And then you got to wait, and it comes back up. And the risk there is that you've just bought it at the high. You've bought it at a really high level. All right, so let's watch this. There we go, 16, 14, 13, and just like that, it rips through 5 all the way up to 517. That might be a market order, someone covering a short position or buying long. And just there in a period of moments, thanks to reading level 2, you were able to capitalize on that breakout. My approach on these is generally to take profit through the breakout. Sometimes I'll hold the whole thing. It depends on how much it moves. That was a pretty nice move up to 17. I was in with 6,000 shares. I wanted to take some profit off the table. Of course, I'd be willing to add back, but it did end up retracing a little bit too much here, back down below 5, which is not perfect. I mean, it recovered, but it wasn't picture perfect. All right, so again, those of you guys that are watching this, if you have any questions, please leave them right down below in the comments section. And if you want to learn more about reading level 2, risk management, stock selection, and these chart patterns, the first pullback and things like that, make sure you register to my next live webinar. You'll see the link right down there, probably right over there to register, right there, something like that. All right, enjoy, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everyone. Hey, it's me again. The most popular video on day trading on YouTube was made by me. You can check it out below if you haven't already. And as always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I personally respond to every question that's posted on my channel.